Have you ever felt exhausted when the alarm rings every morning, repeating the same old chorus of squeezing through smog-filled traffic jams, suffocatingly crowded just to rush to work for the sake of making a living? Have you ever wondered if your life will be forever tied down by piling utility bills and this meager salary until your hair turns gray? According to a recent sociological survey, over 70% of working adults admit they are living in a state of working merely to survive, struggling in the vicious cycle of getting paid and paying off debts, always carrying a vague fear of an uncertain future. If I told you that there is a secret map to help you escape this endless loop, a precise and practical plan that can be realized in just 7 years, would you believe it? Watch closely until the very last seconds of this video to find the answer that could completely liberate your life. And before we begin this mind-altering journey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Raw Fact Teller channel to give us a huge motivation to produce even more meaningful content. If someone told you that in 3 years you absolutely wouldn't need to wake up early for work just because of salary pressure, nor squeeze onto subways or crowded streets, you could freely arrange your daily schedule, dedicating precious moments entirely to your family, taking care of your health, and developing passions you once had to set aside due to the burden of making ends meet. Meanwhile, the numbers in your bank account would continue to grow steadily and solidly, even while you sleep. Does this sound like the wild dream of a daydreamer? The brilliant author Bodo Schaefer would assert to you on his honor that this is absolutely not a dream. This is a real path with a clear methodology. But the starting point of all these miracles only requires you to do one single thing right, which is not rushing straight into stock investing or buying real estate, but radically altering your perception of wealth at its very roots. Today, in just the duration of one video, we will dissect down to every last detail the book that has changed destinies and influenced tens of millions of people worldwide, titled The Road to Financial Freedom. I am not standing here to teach you how to make money fast. I am helping you perform a surgery to switch to a wealthy person's brain. The amount of information in this video is extremely massive and profound. It deserves to be a treasure in your collection of knowledge, so save it right away before you scroll past and lose it in the vast ocean of online information. When many people first hear the phrase financial freedom, their initial instinctive reaction is always to make excuses. They think they must have a massive amount of capital from their family, must be an investing genius, or must be lucky enough to catch the right trend of the era. But right from its first pages, this book hits us with a naked and painful truth. You will never earn an amount of money that exceeds your own level of awareness. Even if the universe favors you with a lottery win or a large sum of money through luck, you will quickly lose it all through your own lack of capability and financial ignorance. History has proven that countless jackpot winners have returned to square one or even plunged into more miserable debt after just a few years. At the age of 26, Bodo Schaefer himself was still empty-handed, drowning in massive debt and sinking into a deep pit of despair. But thanks to this revolutionary mindset, he not only cleared all his debts in record time, but also rose to achieve complete financial freedom, becoming a financial icon, dubbed the Warren Buffett of Europe. Therefore, the core value of this book does not lie in handing you the code to a safe full of cash, but in placing right into your hands a cognitive map, showing you exactly where to take your first step and how to overcome psychological traps. Let's do a quick self-test of mental honesty together. When facing difficulties in life, what is the first thought that flashes through your mind? When receiving a low salary, do you immediately think it's because the company's compensation is terrible or because the boss is too stingy and exploitative? When swamped with work, do you resent the company for treating employees like tools, draining your labor until you have absolutely no time left to upgrade yourself? Or when investing and taking a loss, do you curse the market as garbage full of scams and call all the experts liars? If you frequently have these thoughts and use these catchphrases, I'm sorry, but I have to congratulate you. You've stepped right into the first and most dangerous pitfall that will keep you forever poor: the habit of shifting blame. The author presents an incredibly sharp viewpoint that might make many feel defensive upon first hearing it. He demands that you take 100% responsibility for your current financial status and life. The moment you open your mouth to blame economic recessions, blame your poor background, or blame bad luck, at that exact second, you have single-handedly surrendered your life's self-determination to external circumstances, turning yourself into a small, weak, and entirely helpless victim. To be honest with you, from my personal perspective as a content creator, I have also fallen into this victim mentality trap more than a few times. There were times when I poured my heart and soul, staying up several nights in a row to write scripts and produce knowledge-sharing videos, only to receive dismal views upon uploading. My first reaction back then was indignation and blame. I blamed the platform's algorithm for throttling engagement, complaining that current audience tastes were too shallow, preferring cheap, sensational entertainment while turning their backs on knowledge. But that complaining didn't bring me a single new follower. It only drained my positive energy. Only when I looked in the mirror and accepted 100% responsibility did I stop complaining. I started asking myself how to optimize video thumbnails, how to open the story more engagingly, and how to apply artificial intelligence tools to improve audio and visual quality. And as you can see, this very shift from a blaming mindset to a solution-oriented mindset has helped our channel improve day by day and earn your love. Just like when you fall ill, you don't stand in the middle of the hospital cursing the virus or blaming the changing weather. Instead, what you do is find a doctor, ask what medicine you need to take and how you should change your diet and rest so your body can recover. For the empty wallet syndrome or financial poverty, it's exactly the same. Replace the whine of why is my life so miserable with the action of what must I do to escape this situation. When drowning in debt, the author didn't lament his difficult circumstances or the harshness of his creditors. Instead, he resolutely carved out the first 10% of his income to save, regardless of the impossibly huge monthly interest payments. Because he understood a profound truth, only when he had some accumulated capital in hand, no matter how tiny, would he have the weapon to turn the tables on his life. So how do you begin this journey when you currently hold no significant resources in your hands? The truth is, you don't need to wait until you have $1 billion or $10 billion dong in hand to start making a move. Even if your current salary is only at 15 million, 10 million, or even just 5 million dong a month, you can absolutely take solid steps on the path to wealth thanks to a core strategy called raising the goose. The concept of the goose here is a brilliant metaphor for capital, for your money-generating assets, while the golden eggs are the interest, the passive income it produces every day. Most people around us cannot get rich because they take all their hard-earned salary and spend it cleanly on liabilities, which means they are ruthlessly butchering their own future goose. Look at current social realities. According to many financial reports on consumer behavior, there is a highly alarming percentage of young people living the lifestyle of spending their entire paycheck the month they receive it. They are willing to swipe their credit cards into the negative just to buy the latest released smartphone model, willing to borrow money to go on fancy luxury trips just to take photos to show off on social media, or buy expensive designer clothes beyond their means just to catch fleeting glances of admiration from others. This reckless spending habit, chasing materialism, is the fatal stab that single-handedly executes their own financial future. To completely cure this chronic disease, the very first step is to entirely reverse the cash flow management formula. Instead of using the outdated formula of income minus expenses equals what is left to save, a formula that always results in zero left over. You must apply the ironclad rule of income minus savings and then only use the remainder to spend. The very moment you receive your salary, the number one priority action is to immediately set aside at least 50%, or if that's not possible yet, start with a more realistic but fixed number. Transfer it straight into a financial freedom account, the incubator for your goose, and swear to yourself to absolutely never touch this money for any living expenses other than profitable investments. Of course, if one only rigidly tightens their belt to the extreme, they can easily become emotionally exhausted. That is why this method requires you to allocate the next 10 to 20% into a fun account. This is a sacred fund to reward yourself with a delicious meal or a favorite item, ensuring this accumulation journey doesn't turn into self-torture or go against the human instinct that craves enjoyment. Next, dedicate 10 to 20% for major long-term dreams like buying a better computer for work or a family vacation, and budget only 5 to 10%, or whatever reasonable percentage remains, for essential daily living expenses. But there is one extremely crucial account that you should never intend to cut or skip, and that is the education account. Always maintain this fund at 5 to 10% of your total income. In an era where the world changes at a dizzying pace every day, investing in your own brain is the ultimate risk-free investment that yields the most massive returns, far surpassing any financial investment channel in the world. Let me take a practical example from my own working process so it's easier for you to visualize. Amidst the rising tide of short videos, instead of spending hours every night doom scrolling through useless clips, I use the money from this education fund to enroll in intensive classes via online meeting apps. There, I diligently learned how to apply modern artificial intelligence tools to craft sharp scripts, learned how to build from scratch a channel specializing in short video content to sell books, and delved deep into researching systematic affiliate marketing strategies to diversify my income streams. The act of personally honing your skill, building a personal brand or a valuable content distribution channel, not only opens up countless business collaboration opportunities, but also directly creates passive cash flows pouring into your pocket sustainably later on. That is exactly how you use money wisely to upgrade your intellect, sharpen your mindset, and raise your own goose of capability. Even if the initial amount spent seems small, that knowledge will remain in your head forever. As long as you persistently apply it, that goose will grow rapidly and start laying the most brilliant golden eggs. Once the goose has started to grow and your financial freedom fund has a decent amount of capital, the most dangerous and decisive step is taking that money out to invest. Many people out there are stuck in two incredibly disastrous extremes. Half of them are people living in sheer fear of loss. They choose the illusion of safety by putting all their savings in the bank or locking it securely in a safe, only to watch inflation, like an invisible monster, silently erode the purchasing power of every hard-earned coin day by day. The other half is blinded by greed. They listen to sweet-talking incitements and throw themselves like moths into the flame of virtual land fevers or untraceable cryptocurrency projects with the dream of becoming a billionaire overnight, only to have their illusions shattered and lose their entire fortune to scammers. The ultimate secret summarized here is, before you truly train yourself to become an expert with a thorough understanding of the market, please do not jump into that shark-infested playground by yourself. Your crucial mission is to go find a real coach. That person must not be those who only talk a good game, showing off rented mansions and luxury cars on social media just to sell courses, but must be someone who has actually weathered the storms, making money sustainably and transparently from the market. They must have a clear, logical investment strategy that you can fully listen to and comprehend, and at the same time, they must share the same risk management philosophy as you. This coach sometimes doesn't necessarily have to be a flesh and blood human sitting in front of you. They can absolutely be a classic book on investing that has stood the test of time, or a foundational knowledge system that has been empirically proven. And when you have seen the right path, the final thing that determines success or failure is the golden 72-hour rule. If you intend to change your current mundane life, you must take action within the next 72 hours. That action could be going online to immediately order the book I just analyzed. It could be registering for a soft skills enhancement course, or simply taking out a pen and paper, rewriting your income and expense budget, and starting the process of splitting your bank accounts as soon as you receive your next paycheck. If you hesitate and say, "I'll figure it out tomorrow," that procrastination will slowly extinguish the fire of enthusiasm, turning all of today's blazing determination into a handful of forgotten ashes and dust forever. Summarizing the entire journey, the deepest and most profound lesson from this book does not lie in cramming your head with complex macroeconomic calculation formulas, but rather, it acts as a wake-up call, awakening the great power of self-determination sleeping within you. When you bravely stop blaming fate, know how to discipline yourself to pay yourself first to raise your asset goose, continuously learn to upgrade yourself, and know how to leverage the strength of the giants who came before you, you are single-handedly drafting a perfect blueprint for your own prosperous future. What you possess today is the inevitable result of all your choices in the past, and your freedom, your financial ease in 3 or 7 years' time depends entirely on your nod to take decisive action right at this very moment. So, as someone who always accompanies you on the path of personal development, the Raw Fact Teller has a deeply reflective question for you. Right now, looking back calmly, which invisible spending habit is quietly devouring the most of your goose's food, which you firmly believe you have enough courage and rationality to cut back on immediately next month? Consider this an oath to yourself. Boldly leave a comment below to share your perspective and personal views so everyone can reference, debate, and learn from each other's valuable experiences. And if you feel this video has truly touched your mindset and brought you some practical value, don't hesitate to hit subscribe to the Raw Fact Teller channel to support our spirits. Your companionship, every single like, and every single comment are the greatest and most precious sources of motivation for the channel's team to keep the fire of passion burning strong, to research and produce many more high-quality, deeper contents in the future to serve the community. Goodbye, and see you all again in the next exciting videos.